Okay.
Chicka.
Yeah.
Kill Bill and Rev. We don't suck.
Life is fleeting.
Keep it light, Bill. Welcome back to the We Don't Suck podcast, episode 73. Boy, does time fly. Bill, what's up? What's going on? Why are you looking so sad? Why the long face?
We're all gonna die one day.
Keep it light. Keep it light, Bill. What's happening? Why the long face, kid?
I had 2 strokes on each side of my brain. That's why my face looks like this.
Okay, why the sad look in your eyes?
Because I had 2 strokes and you just didn't. You just kind of glossed over that part.
I don't know. I think you're. I don't know, man. I think you're honestly blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah, you're right, man. You know me, man. I'm just living in a constant state of moroseness. Mm-hmm. Is that the word? How are you doing?
Dude, you know what?
Huh?
Bill, I can hear actual deep, dark sadness every time you speak. What's happening,
well,
big boy?
I just been dealing with some stuff on this head.
Hey, big fella, tell me what's going on.
It's just like, I'm working hard, trying to get this house set up, and
Ooh.
I just, all this stuff is going on in my life, and I've been working real hard. And then I come onto the internet.
And you get to the point.
And I come onto the internet and then I just get ridiculed.
Deservingly so.
Constantly. Just a constant state of, there goes Birdseed Bill. They say he's got birdseed in his head. Birdseed.
Okay, I think you are blowing this out of proportion.
They won't even say a joke. It'll just be birdseed. That's all they'll say.
Okay, tell me, be honest with me. Like, how much are you actually getting from, you probably got 2-3 messages here and there, and now, you acting all special.
Okay, can you do me a favor really quick?
Sure.
I want you to go onto my latest Instagram picture and just read the comments out loud for me. Can you do that? You have your phone?
Yes, I got my phone. I'll do that.
Can you please read every comment?
Okay.
Please.
Okay, just the way you... Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, okay, I see. Show us the bird seed dent. Take that off, Bill. What are you hiding under there? Someone replied, the bird seed? Thinking face. Yeah, this is pretty good. I can't believe you're still trying to hide the bird seed. Bro, you can clearly see the bird seed hole through the mesh. My man's discovering his bird seed again. Just let me get a taste of that seed. I don't know, man. I think you're blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah, man. It was, honestly, man, here's the problem. Here's the problem.
I don't see what the problem is. Point it out for me.
I posted that image, images. It's an image set of 2.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I just got a haircut. My mom cut my hair. And I was feeling kind of sexy, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, you know what? It was the golden hour.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm going to take a picture outside in front of this fucking barn wearing my fucking Bass Pro Shops hat that I stole from my fucking dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, this is real. I was thinking all the comments were going to be like, look at this guy. He's so cool. I want to be just like him. And maybe that was 10% of the comments.
Yeah, I mean...
And the rest of them were asking me about birdseed, a fictional dent in my head. And so here's where I thought it was funny, was the idea of someone who doesn't listen to our podcast or follow us on Twitch or Twitter, and they're just fans of my music going on, or maybe a family member, perchance. I have a couple of family members that follow me on Instagram, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they go on and they're just like, wow, look, he's looking pretty good here. Let's look at the comments. And everyone's like, show us the fucking birdseed dent. you know. And then I was on Twitch the other night, and I was like, I was thinking I was around a bunch of supporting good friends, and I said, wow,
Right.
I'm getting kind of tired of the birdseed jokes because y'all are literally just saying, show us the dent over and over. And I thought maybe me saying that would make them go, huh, then stop doing that. But then everyone just started typing birdseed over and over and over in chat. I muted the phrase birdseed, bird space seed, and also seed of bird
Can I just say something?
on Twitter.
Can I just say something? Guys, you can spell birdseed by replacing I with a U, by the way. Just a thought.
Yeah,
But
I'll have to add that in there too. I'm just gonna every variant of any like.
guys, you're gonna have to get real creative. Space the letters out sometimes, but only some of them.
Yeah. But I was like actually having like kind of a shitty day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got like bombarded with birdseed comments, and I was like,
You know
this
what?
is so funny and good. I love it.
On the bright side, it's cheered me up, you know? So,
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
glad.
to look you
I'm
have to look
glad.
at things that from, a perspective of like at least your friend's happy, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, okay, so now you get to feel how I felt in the past when you'd just be
Okay.
like, oh, Rav is smelly or stinky, right? You'll
but the difference is that I said something offhand to roast my friend in character.
Mm-hmm.
You did a calculated assassination attempt.
Okay, yes and no. So A, you shitted on me, and then every time I would like be on IG Live or I would post something, there was like, luckily it's died out, but there was a period of time where people would just be like, smelly, you know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
I didn't orchestrate that
People
though.
who listen to my music have no fucking clue what these guys are saying, right? It's just like it's dumb, and I didn't attempt to assassinate your character so much as like, look, I knew I was gonna talk about your dent, but I didn't plan out all those pictures and everything. It was all sort of improvised what I did. My work is primarily of improv nature, you know, improv in its nature, and so
Yeah.
there was not like ill intent, like malicious, pre-calculated strategy to destroy you. I just wanted, I wanted to help you grow your brand.
My birdseed brand, is that what you're saying? The
Yeah.
birdseed dent that does not exist for the record. You want me to grow my brand by now everyone commenting, show us the... Imagine this, right? Uh-huh. Imagine you're just a fan who just listens to me on Spotify.
Yes.
And you go on and you see, and they're like, wow, look, let's comment on
Handsome
this photo
fella,
and say,
yeah.
handsome fella here. And then it's just nothing but birdseed, show us the birdseed. Show it. I can't believe you're hiding the hideous dent in your fucking birdseed riddled face.
I like the one where they're like, we can see the dent through the mesh inside of your hat. I like that one.
I just feel like okay, here's my real issue with the birdseed.
What is
It's
it?
like, it was funny for like 5 minutes. And it's like one of those jokes that's getting like run into the ground.
Yes.
And now I'm just like it was funny when it was happening. But I thought that it was going to be a thing that was going to go away.
Right.
But
Just
now
like,
it is not.
It's kind of like, think about Yes, 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 Daddy Likes, or
Yeah.
Matt Watson loves Splatoon porn, or like these things, they tend to stick around. And,
Yeah.
can I actually talk to you about something funny? I don't know how this happened, but this video got recommended to me on YouTube that was like an hour plus long video of Super Mega talking about Game Grumps in a negative light, right? And these were
Jesus.
these were all jokes, right? Like Brent has a smelly penis.
Yeah.
You know, Dan has had like a lot of plastic surgery and shit. Those ones are hilarious. Just like a lot of shit like that, right? And and all of the YouTube comments being like, you know, the fact that there's over an hour of this stuff just proves how like abusive of a working environment that place was, you know? Or
Jesus
like
Christ.
Everybody at the Grumps office have been like absolutely awesome, you know? Matt and Ryan like we're clearly joking in this video, and so it's kind of funny. And then I kind of skipped around and I found a part in that video. They included the part where we talked about like it's like I made a joke that the reason they were leaving Game Grumps, because like the podcast we did with them, they just announced they were leaving, and I was like, "Is it because you punched Susie?" And then we like it went into a joke, right?
Sorry.
Right, it went into a joke, and then they had to, I remember, clarify, Matt, and were like, you know, like, we just have to be super clear because we know some of y'all are dumb out there. And it was so funny hearing, like, yeah, they predicted it. And then Matt said, like, you know, like, people are going to be like, oh, you punched Susie. Raph punched Susie. And I said, well, like, you sort of elbowed her, you know. I just, like, once she was down, I started pummeling her or whatever. And then at another, I think, and the way it started was because y'all were ripping on me for the ant shit or the ant piss or whatever, and just like.
Oh, that's why you posted that. Okay, yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Because y'all were like raveeatsantshit.com or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. Then y'all's website is punch.susie.com, and I think that's how it started, right? And it's funny to see that whole segment being included as part of this, like, you know, like a lot of people look at that video as like evidence that the Grumps office is a toxic environment, you know. And I don't know, I just thought that was incredibly enlightening.
I feel like there's this weird, like, I'm not going to say that, like, Grumps, I'm not going to use the words Grumps fans, because I feel like there's so many, like, fans. Like, I'm a fan of the Grumps, you're the fan of the Grumps. Yeah. And we're not like this.
No,
but
not
like,
at all. I watch them every day, and I'm not like out here.
Yeah, but like people who talk about them negatively, I don't even know if that's like even a fan at that point, but someone who like spends, like, they were fans, but then maybe like after John left, they felt a certain way, or like
Oni
such and
was
such
no
and such.
longer associated closely,
like
or whatever.
When something didn't go their way in this trajectory of, like, they're just people, and that's how it works. Like, like you have relationships with people and they end with people, and that's like how the world works, you know, through time. Like, I mean, I don't hang out with a lot of the same people I hung out with like 6 years ago. You know what I mean? It's you know, everybody gets in different spots. There's different reasons, etc. And it's just so weird to me because people make these like pretty wild assumptions, and they'll just post them like as fact on the internet, and it's real crazy. Like, I think like that was one of the things that, like, I asked Matt what it was like when I first started talking to him. I was like, what it was like working with the Grumps, and he said like that it was like one of the most positive experiences he ever had. Like, he said nothing bad about them, like, at all. You know, I think that people have it like misconstrued that Aaron is like this kind of like crazy, like power hungry, like abusive dude, and I don't think it's that at all. Yeah, you know, like I said, I don't know the guy, but they never said anything bad about him to me. Yeah, so. No,
I've only heard high praise, and of course, everyone's people, you know, and I'm sure there. At one point or another, people don't see eye to eye. I don't always see eye to eye with you, and yet, you know, that doesn't mean like, fuck, their friendship is all false and fake. Yo, ever since the birdseed incident, things haven't been the same.
Okay, I was actually going to say, ever since that incident, things have been a little bit tense between us. You know what I mean? I think it's, I just think I deserve an apology. You know?
Right. Also, I was going to say, yo, is there a way to change a subreddit name because I think we have the We Don't Suck subreddit, right? And
yes,
the reason I don't check it is because it's like, well, if it's the We Don't Suck, is it just for the podcast, or like, you know what I mean? But it's not.
I think it's for everything now.
They include the music, they include blah blah. So I know Square made an exociety one that we haven't really fleshed out yet. So I was thinking maybe we flesh that out, or maybe can we get a Chibi Chubby one, or is it possible to convert the We Don't Suck one to a Chibi Chubby one? I feel like that'd be more appropriate.
Chibi Chubby one. I'm pretty sure a Chibi Chubby one exists.
Oh, so there's a We Don't Suck one, a Chibi Chubby, and an exociety one? That's crazy.
Okay, I think what happened is someone made a Chibi Chubby one after the We Don't Suck one, and it wasn't like us. Didn't we start the We Don't Suck one, sort of?
Did we? No, not at all.
I thought we did.
Definitely not. The exociety one, I helped Square with some stuff, but I didn't even come through. I was supposed to, because I don't know what the ratios are for anything, nothing. Like if we did help start it, it would look
okay, never mind.
I don't.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe I'm thinking about when we started the exociety one, because I have like
because
like
I never
privilege on there, but
oh yeah, because I don't even think I have any privileges on.
Someone started the We Don't Suck one, and then like someone's tried to do the Chibi Chubby one after, but like it was like everybody was just using the We Don't Suck one. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Which I feel like we use, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we don't put We Don't Suck in the YouTube title anymore because, like, you won't get monetized because they think that it's porn.
Yeah.
YouTube thinks it's a good old us sucking dicks, which I mean, they're not wrong.
They're not completely wrong, but they're not completely right either. But yeah, that's part of the reason why we kind of stepped away from that branding. But also, we still kept We Don't Suck as the branding for the podcast. It's just, as you see on YouTube, we label them as WDS, and there's no mention of suck in the metadata.
Yeah, which WDS, actually, we changed the name of the podcast to We Dick Suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a thing.
True.
You know? Someone's going to, like, take that seriously. You ever notice that there's this whole thing, like, this whole, like, this inherent thing on the internet that if you say something sarcastically, like, there's going to be, like, 10 people that don't get that you're joking? Mm-hmm. And I think that happened. That's like just kind of like the recurring theme, like what you're talking about with Matt and Ryan talking about Game Grumps.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, it's just like, I always think that people can understand, like, I don't even think it's subtle. Like, if you hear me talking and I say something like "we dick suck," you would think like, oh yeah, he's joking. Maybe it's not a funny joke. Maybe we're just not funny and they don't get it. Is that what's happening? Am I losing my mind, Rav?
That's a very good question, Bill. Yes, is the answer.
Good.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it is weird. I think what is weird is that, you know, I think I would go on the Reddit more for the We Don't Suck thing if it was a Chibi Chubby one. I think for some reason in my head it's just like, but to talk about Chibi Chubby, that's more of the umbrella for We Don't Suck and the Let's Play stuff, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff on there, and I mean this is true for all Reddits, and I think that's something that I just have to get used to. As you know, Bill, I don't really go on the Reddit. I maybe go once every 3-4 months. And
I'm kind of the same, yeah.
And it's reason being is because I'll inevitably see misinformation or something that'll make me be like, fuck me, man. Fuck everything I've ever done in my life. It's meaningless, you know?
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I say that because I just looked down at my phone and saw that I got a new comment on Instagram from you.
But did I commented?
Yeah, it just says, "Show us the dent" in all caps.
I did that? What? That's crazy. I did that?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. exo_Rav. That's your account, correct?
When did I do that?
16 minutes ago when we were talking about it.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know. I think somebody's hacked into my account.
I remember one time I went on the Reddit though, and it was like somebody was asking about the whole Jinzo thing, which I think people still kind of don't get. I guess because I wasn't really like super clear about who Jinzo was or the idea behind Jinzo. And I guess that I don't really have like a real defined definition, but like Jinzo was a production side project originally that I did on Tumblr, which is ultimately like kind of one of the things that got me attention in the first place, because I was rapping and I didn't have an album out, but I was making a whole bunch of beats. People were gravitating more towards the beats at first because of the way I was marketing it on Tumblr, and then I used that platform to start rapping more. And so Jinzo the Trap Lord was this like my, not an alter ego per se, but like just kind of like my production name. And it used to like when I first started, it was supposed to be a separate thing, and then it slowly became not, you know. And then I started rapping with this low pitched vocals, and like pitch down my vocals and rap over my own beats, and sometimes not my own beats. And I would just say by Jinzo the Trap Lord because it was fun to like act like a different persona, but it's really kind of the same person. And then I saw someone on the Reddit like asking like what Jinzo was, and then it was just like somebody said like, man, Jinzo is just Kill Bill trying to be Ugly Mane, and I was just so confused because it didn't really make any sense. No. It really didn't make any sense at all. Like I was doing that before I knew who Ugly was, you know. So
and it sounds nothing like a little Ugly Mane. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was they were talking about some of the beats because I was making funk shit, but I mean like funk shit existed before. Yeah,
and I mean, but your shit was also kind of like venturing more into kind of the electronic stuff and experimental, whereas his was more like, not that it wasn't experimental, just more Memphis revival kind of sound, you know. I don't know, I just felt like sonically clearly enough differences to not sort of draw that comparison as the first thing that comes to your mind. That's really bizarre to me.
I think maybe if they heard like Prisms and that's it.
I think honestly it's because for a lot of the vocals you pitch your vocals down, because that's what pisses me off. Now whenever people hear anything I do that's vocals are pitched down, like, oh, yo, Rav Jinzo. And it's like, you guys are fucking idiots. I also had songs where like entire songs I had my vocals pitched down years before Jinzo was a thing. People have pitched their vocals down for as long as people have been able to record vocals, you know? And again, it doesn't come from a bad place. It's just that it's tough to look at something when somebody could just post anything and then it looks like so matter of fact sometimes. And it's like, yo, that's right there. And then people just like, yeah, you're probably right. And misinformation could spread so quickly. Like people talked about like shirts, our shirts, for instance, you know, I think people talked about it like, what's happening? Oh, do they have a plan? We've been selling our shirts at our shows. You know, if you come to the shows, we've sold hundreds and hundreds of these shirts. We just don't sell anything online in terms of merch outside of CDs at the moment. But if you come to our shows, we sell apparel, we sell posters, stickers. You know what I mean? So it's just it's interesting. I think it's probably the case for everybody who has a Reddit made in their name or after what they do. Inevitably, if people give a shit enough, and I'm so glad, you know what, I don't want to stop necessarily people sharing their opinions and views, and even if they're wrong, because that's what helps the community be a thriving one, a living one, a breathing one.
Yeah.
And through that, unfortunately, of course, people will be misinformed because people aren't in our fucking heads, and that's absolutely understandable. And we're not always the best communicators of information, and sometimes it's difficult to source or cite certain things we've said because I think we're most informative during like a live stream on IG or Twitch, and these things can be a little bit more difficult to cite, which I understand. So with everything I just said, I want to clarify that I'm not a hater, and I think I saw somebody was because I'm talking about Reddit because I looked at it earlier today in preparation for this podcast, and I saw somebody post like a screenshot of me where I was like on stream going like, oh, I didn't realize this was your stream. Oh, let me host you right now. What else should I do? You know, and
Right.
And somebody took a screenshot of that and said Pog Rav, and people blah blah. And then somebody in the comments said, "Yo, no lie, I kind of felt bad for the guy, like that Rav was ripping on." Right? And
But it was like a joke.
it was
though.
a joke, and then somebody said, I think it was probably just like sarcasm or like lighthearted joke, and they're like, I don't know, I didn't watch the whole VOD. Maybe he clarifies later on that it was a joke.
You don't have to. Why would you have to? It's
right. It's so
like
ridiculous.
a playful joke.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so crazy to me because like anytime you do something at someone else's expense, even though it's like clearly like the comedy. This is the thing I can't understand about people.
The joke is on me that
It's
I'm
like,
an asshole. But
the joke is that you are making yourself out to be this unreasonable person.
exactly.
That's like. That's the joke. The joke isn't like, look at this fucking idiot. Like, no, the joke is like you're supposed to go like, oh wow, Rav's being extra. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
That's
he's being
I don't
over the
know.
top. That's the thing. It's kind of like when you do a joke, you're pretending to be like oblivious and stupid and saying something hurtful or killing me in a game or something. You're not being mean. And you're not actually
dude, that's
fucking.
a joke.
You're not fucking. Not actually. You're not.
When I do that, when I kill you in a game, is a total joke, bro. It's a joke.
You're not actually dumb. You know, like when you do certain dumb things over and over again, it's not because you're actually dumb. You're playing a character. You're making a joke. You know. And if everybody has to
anytime
constantly
I do anything dumb ever, I'm gonna be like, if someone calls me out on it, I'm gonna be like, I was a character.
Yeah. Why'd you
They'd be
vote Trump again?
Why'd you drive your fucking car through someone's house? I was in character.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it is interesting that people do, I think, misinterpret sometimes the certain things that we say, and I'm actually in a good place. I think I'm in a good place mentally where I understand, because I've seen that for many years happen with like, you know, as someone who's been watching the Game Grumps for so many years now, you know, approaching a decade. I saw that whenever I'd scroll in the YouTube comments throughout the years. Oftentimes the jokes would fly over people's heads. Sometimes people would confuse what is the real them or what is the playful them. Are they in character or is there some seriousness to what they're saying? And people were like really just reading into it a little too much, you know? And I sort of see it the same way now whenever it happens to us. And whereas like, you know, 5-6 years ago, whenever that would happen, you know, misinterpretations and everything, they would piss me off. Hell, even like 2 years ago.
Even 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, even, you know, like right now it's pissing me off. But you know what I mean? I feel like I understand where that comes from. And I just wanted to say I do appreciate the Reddit. I'm sorry I haven't been very active in terms of keeping tabs on it, but it's just because, as Bill knows, I don't actually like looking myself up. I stopped. What I used to have is you can set up alerts on Google for certain keywords. I had that, so like any combination of like Rav and like names of my albums or certain song titles, or Rav and Kill Bill if they appear in an article, or Rav and Square. And on Twitter, what I would do is I would like put in quotation marks Rav, put in quotation marks Kill Bill, or I just look up Beneath the Toxic Jungle. And I used to like looking at that kind of stuff because it helped inform me like the good thing that came out of that is like it helped inform me whenever like a magazine or someone noteworthy would talk about it and my fans wouldn't alert me to it. You know, it would be like, oh, this is cool. Like I didn't even realize this article. There's this article about my tape. Awesome. Or sometimes seeing people say nice and positive things all over the world. You'd be, coming across tweets with your name in it and Bill's name in it, and it'd be French, and you click translate, and it's positive. Same would go with like Portuguese. And you click
translate, and it's like, fuck these guys.
Right. So there was definitely a good positive that was coming out of it. But then on the downside, they'd be people just having conversations with their friends, as anyone would about music. And not everyone's going to be a fan. Or a lot of people would be misinformed and people will just say things blatantly. Like whenever someone wants to shit on Nas or someone wants to shit on Megan Thee Stallion or anyone like that, they will. And they're not going to back it up with a whole lot of context and evidence. They'll just kind of say something, right? Because they don't really know that person. They don't expect that person to see it. But I was seeing these things. And I was like, motherfucker, I'm reading these, and it was hurting me. And then it later on transitioned to a point where now people respond to my tweets as if I'm not going to see them sometimes, with like shit that's kind of hateful. And I'm like, guys, I understand you're excited, but I'm seeing these things that you're saying. It fucking sucks. And so I stopped looking myself up because now I just trust my audience to alert me to something if something relevant comes up. I mean, some things will slip under the radar because they don't know every blog. They're not keeping tabs in every country, and inevitably something will go unseen. But it's honestly done wonders for my self-confidence because now that I don't have to see that stuff, like those negative comments don't plague my thoughts as much.
Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, I think that there's a part of me before that was like, I want to hear everything because it was just like part of the experience was like, I don't know, I'm used to like old internet where like everybody comments on everything and you read everything.
Yeah.
And it was like almost like creators were like more like engaged back then with people. And I kind of wanted to keep that spirit with me on the internet, but I've noticed that like I think sometimes people have just like an idea of the type of person you are based off of something that you did one time or think one time or said one. I don't even mean like a negative thing, but like they can hear one song and hear one line in a song and just like have an idea of like, yep, I can summarize this person now.
Yeah. A perfect example would be like, let's say you have a song about like a hurdle that you're overcoming in your personal life, and that has great significance to you and it has lots of layers to it. And one of the lines in your song, the way to illustrate your point, you reference some sort of thing, pop fiction thing, right? Like an anime or something. And then people will be like, that song is about that anime, And it's like, and exactly. It's not a negative comment, but it's so untrue. And it like, it feels almost as criticism because it omits the significance of everything else and just condenses into this one thing that is just not at all.
Yeah. Did I talk about speaking of all this, because I remember we talked a little bit before about my dumbass tweet with the me ending mumble rap or whatever. We talked about that. But Did I talk about the Kanye to the forum thread thing then?
Oh, I don't remember.
I feel like this is very like tied in.
I don't remember if you talked about it on the podcast, but you definitely told me about it. You should just speak on it again, because fuck it.
Okay, yeah. So basically, just for the uninitiated, I did this tweet a while ago. I'd say like 2 or 3 months ago now. Mm-hmm. Where I put on this funny voice and I rap like this, and I like basically did this whole thing of like making fun of people who like say they're gonna end mumble rap, like those like kind of white backpacker type rappers that were like they take themselves super seriously and like we're bringing back real hip hop you know?
Right, yeah.
I just sound like a knockoff Walmart Danny Brown right there, but not Danny Brown. But yeah, so I did this thing. Anthony Fantano retweeted it, and then like Bill Ratchet retweeted it, and I thought it was pretty funny. And it was just something stupid though. I didn't know it was gonna get like a whole bunch of fucking retweets and shit, right? And it's always the stuff you don't think is gonna get retweets, I feel like. But yeah, so it got shared around a lot, and then like a lot of people weren't like familiar with my music at all, and so I think some people thought that it was serious, and that I was just trying to be like kind of this wacky white boy rapper. And I thought that it was like pretty blatantly obvious that it wasn't. But one of the things was, and this all ties in together, why I don't Google myself anymore, is because one day I had alerts set up, but sometimes I'd just like go and look, you know, and I'd put in like Kill Bill the Rapper, like in quotes, and put like last week, because sometimes you'll find like interesting stuff, you know. It's usually not very negative, you know. And I found that someone made like a Kanye to the thread about me, but they didn't get the joke. And then like no one else, and it's not actually Kanye to the, it's like Kanye to the 2, because I think Kanye to the is gone now.
Yeah.
I was never really on Kanye to the like that.
Same.
I've noticed that like when I was, that people, I mean, it was funny, but a lot of people were like really negative, and so I just kind of like didn't like it that much. But I know that it's like any form, like there's like pockets that are cool and pockets that aren't, you know. I'm not like hating on Kanye to the really, but like so no one in the thread was like understanding the joke, and everyone was like, man, who the fuck is this? Like, this is embarrassing, and like all this other stuff, right? And then one person came on and said something along the lines of like y'all don't get this is a joke, you know. And then they basically like accused that person of being me. And then so I made an account and was just like, nah, like this is a joke. You know, that's not me. I'm like, you know. And then like when I like responded to it, which was dumb, like I should have just like let it die out.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said nothing, but it was kind of like this whole like fucking, like, I don't know, like it was annoying me because people were getting this idea of who I was, and they don't know anything about me, you know. And which in retrospect, I feel like I would have just been cooler if I just didn't say anything, you know. But then yeah,
this happens. It's happened before, by the way, in 2014 when you released Ramona, and we would Google every day like Ramona killed Bill, and then we came across somebody posted it on 4chan, and a few people were like, Bill, it's you, isn't it? Like, oh, like stop posting your own records, blah blah blah. And it was so funny to see that. It's like, and I think to this day some people reached out like, hey, I actually came across your music when you guys first posted it on 4chan. And it's like, we never did.
I never posted it on 4chan. But that's actually perfect that you said that, because this is the shit that got me. Because like all the people that were like, the people that were hating on me, I was like, they would never be fans anyway. Like, they're not the type of people that would fuck with me anyway, so it's fine. It's whatever. It doesn't really bother me. People were just trying to make me mad.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't even really mad. I was just kind of like, it's wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have an idea that's not, you know. And I came on and I just put in like, my comment was like something like just like, LOL, it was a joke. That's all I said, you know. And then so there's like one dude who came on who's just like, you're not funny, you're not good at rapping, blah 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 blah. Like, was like trying to tell me all about myself. I just ignored him because like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, because who is that guy?
Yeah, it was Rav. But no,
it was me. Yeah.
So, but I mean, that didn't really even bother me. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, he's fucking mad, or just wants me to be mad or something. I don't know. But then I read this one thing where it was like this dude who was like, yo, I used to talk to this dude on Tumblr talking about me. And he was just like, man, I can't believe like he'd post something so embarrassing as this. Like, he was a part of this bigger collective of like struggle rappers, and they never got anywhere, and like all this other stuff. And I'm just like sitting here like just like looking, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I don't know him. Like, I don't know who he is. Like,
yeah,
you know. And I didn't say nothing. Like, I just kind of like chilled back on it. And then like I saw somebody like come on and like reply to that and was just like, and it was someone who like had an account and they had like a reputation on that board, you know? And he was just like, oh, that was like right after I hit 200K on Spotify monthly listeners. And
Nice.
they was just like, oh, he's got like 200K monthly listeners, and like clearly something's going right, because a lot of the rappers that we talk about on here don't have that.
Yeah.
You know? And then he was just like, honestly, like whether you like it or not, like if they're good at like making a brand and selling it and there's an audience for it, then like it's valid, just as valid as anything else.
Yeah.
You know? And then the person like responded, was like, wow, I didn't know that, good for them. And I'm like just kind of like sitting here thinking like, nah, that's like the weirdest fucking thing. And and then they also said that I used to show my music on 4chan, which I've never done.
Oh, that's
like
funny.
I would go look on 4chan, but like I've never posted my music on 4chan ever. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
never
know.
been a
I didn't
thing.
know they said that. That's funny. So yeah, that. Oh wow, that's perfect. Yeah, that's all really interesting. It's that, and that's what annoys, I think, us. And this is where it's difficult sometimes to disconnect, because it may sound like we're bitching, but I just want to provide some clarity into the thinking behind what it is that we do. We intentionally steer away from, labels and everything. And I mean, we don't just say that, like I have been approached on numerous occasions by labels over the last few years and A&R agents for representation and stuff like that. And we're happy with what we have because we've been building our brands organically over time on our own terms, and with better shares of our own profits than we would have if we were splitting them with another entity, right? So that's great, and we're incredibly fortunate. There's a great benefit to doing this independently. On the flip side, we do not have a team of management or social media people who filter this information through to us, who look through this stuff and say, hey, you're getting positive reception on this, or like, hey, this magazine or this publication or these small blogs posted about you, and there's actually a couple good quotes we could grab from this, and these people would do that for you, and they would see these negative things, and they would just kind of like not tell you about these things, but that would be their job, and you would get to focus on just doing your music. We're having to do everything for ourselves, and sometimes in order to keep your brand strong or keep it growing, you feel compelled to do a little research. And you have to filter through everything yourself, and you can't hide the negativity from yourself if you choose to do so. You can't hide the misinformation. Imagine you put your life, your everything into something in your life, then you go online and see someone reduce it to something that is completely incorrect. So they're reducing it from something that means a lot to you and has a lot of meaning to something that's very 2D and simplistic, but it's also just wrong, flat out wrong. And then you see how the internet works, where then people find that years later and they think it's a valid source, and then it'll echo somewhere else, and then now it's in two places. So now it feels like this is an opinion. This is a recurring opinion. And then it can spread like wildfire. And this is what we do. We are representatives we're ambassadors of our own brands. And so that's why it can be so frustrating for us to see that. And maybe over time we will get better at dealing with it. I think we are getting better at dealing with it. Like what Bill said, he shouldn't have commented at all. And I'm telling him like, yeah, I agree. 3-4 years ago, I would have been like, no, fuck that. Go in there. Like, let's keep going. The passion would overtake me for sure, But now we're sort of learning the ropes over time. And I think it's going to take a long, long time before we really get used to this. But it can take a toll, I think, on one emotionally. And maybe that's why, the birdseed shit, which to me is lighthearted, I can see how, like, imagine if you guys, you come online and you see a whole lot of misinformation, and then you come online, you post something, you want a little bit of maybe like, you know, just to see what people think about your new hair, your look, or people just saying something nice, just talk with people, and all they're doing is throwing memes back in your face. And maybe you're already having kind of shitty day, you know? And so it's interesting. It's tough. And this is why I try to stay away from reading comments for the most part. So I think this whole long-winded thing that I'm saying is just to justify me not reading comments as much. I mean, I already justified in the past why I don't read DMs as much, or try to not read them at all whenever I can help it. But with comments, it's becoming a thing where it can also ruin my day. And it's cool. It's cool that people think they can say anything now and I won't see it. That they think I'm at that point. And oftentimes it is true. I don't see all the comments. But on the other hand, when I do catch them, it can ruin my day. I know it's stupid.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, you got to think about it, man. We're all sensitive. This is the thing, man. People want that sad music shit, bro. But as soon as you start acting sad in real life, and they want to act like fucking like you're weird, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Yeah. I'm not like, I don't even think I'm a super sensitive person. I think I can like take things pretty good, and like I get it. Like a lot of times people will say things like it'll be a compliment, but it'll be kind of backhanded or whatever, and I just kind of like, I try to see the good in what they're doing. I like to try to see the good in people.
Yeah, you're definitely better at that than I am.
Well, you gotta be. I feel like you have to be that, or else you're just gonna have a bad time. Yeah, and you gotta like think like you can't like lose hope in humanity, because I think that humanity is pretty great. I just think that we get fucked up sometimes, and we do fucked up shit.
Yeah,
but I think that on the whole, people try most of the time to be the best people they can be. Sometimes they feel miserably, but I feel like on the whole, people try to. And I think that instead of reading things like in the most negative way possible, maybe try to read things in a positive way. But a lot of times I think it's like, I think tone is lost as well.
Absolutely.
In comments.
That's
like,
true.
I don't know, the other day someone said something to me and they put like fucking in it. Like, do this fucking thing or something like that. And I'm like,
show us the fucking birdseed.
Yeah, show us the fucking birdseed. And maybe they were like, hey, show us the fucking birdseed.
Yeah,
like that, you know? They didn't say it like that.
Or show us
but, you know,
the fucking birdseed.
Show us the fucking...
Show us the fucking birdseed.
Show us fucking the birdseed.
Right, but in
Fuck
your
the
head,
birdseed.
in your head, you saw it as like, show us the fucking birdseed.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think
when
when people say fucking, like if they put in with the G at the end of fucking, it sounds way worse than fucking. Like with just an N at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's universal. And when people say, maybe you should fucking do this, instead maybe you should fucking do this, fucking sounds so much better. Isn't that weird? Yeah, it's like, yeah, maybe you should fucking do this thing over here, instead of like, maybe you should fucking do this.
Yeah. I think that's mostly tone, though, yeah.
Fucking. I am fucking.
Good for you, Bill. Yeah, I think...
I really do be fucking, though.
So, yeah, So, I mean... If I wonder sometimes, I do sort of think like, man, is there stuff that I'm like an article I'm missing out on that's nice and sweet that would cheer me up and everything? But that's the decision I made. You know, I can't just say like no to the bad and like try to find a way to only get the good stuff. It's like it's one or the other, and so I've decided to try to block it out. I mean, if someone really of like, you know, if someone out here really is like, yo, fucking Cardi B just like posted a whole ass video talking about Rav's new song and how like she wouldn't she wants to donate all of her money to Rav, right? If that happened, y'all would inform me. Somebody would find a way to inform me. You know what I mean? And if y'all write the blogs or these things and everything, just include me in your tweet. You know, at me or something. Or tag me. I might be able to see it. It's likely that I'll see it. More likely than not.
Well, I was gonna say too. One of the things that I think is interesting that you said was you were saying that maybe you might miss out on some kind words, but you'd rather miss out on kind words than see the negativity.
Yeah, that's how I
Is that kind of like the? Yeah, I think the problem is that when you're like a rapper and you have like any kind of fan base or whatever, you get kind of used to people saying nice things.
That's true.
And it used to like really, I mean, it does, sometimes it really does touch me. Like sometimes I'll just happen to catch something where someone said something like, oh yeah, like I was really going through some shit. And then like your music got me through it.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of like I can liken to, like, I know this all comes full circle back to Game Grumps, but like when I was really going through shit, I would just watch Game Grumps videos all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a particular point in my life, like when I first moved back, you know, like right after Ramona, and I moved back in like to my hometown. I was living with my parents. It was just like I was so sad all the time, and I felt like death all the time. I was like peak depression.
Yeah.
And I just like watched Game Grumps videos all the time, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. That being said, I understand that and it's really cool, but now I hear that and it's kind of like it doesn't hit me. It's nice, but it doesn't hit me with the same impact because I'm like used to seeing stuff like that now versus, so it doesn't give me that like rush of euphoria that it once did, even though I really appreciate it. It's kind of like when you've seen it a few times, well, a lot of times, then it doesn't give you that same high. And then, but if you see something negative, it definitely gives me like a stronger low, and it could like actually fuck up my whole day or possibly a few days, you know? So
yeah,
I just think it might be smarter just to kind of like look away from it. But I mean, not saying that I don't want people to send me nice messages or whatever. Like if you want to do that.
For me, the nice things still work. It's just that the negative things always tend to have like the most lasting impact, because if you already
that's what I mean. Because
if you already have, I feel like if as an artist or just as a person in general, I think we strive to find a fine balance between imposter syndrome and narcissism, right? And I think as an artist, you are more likely to be sensitive in the sense that, like, if you are like us, you touch on a lot of sensitive matters and very personal kind of music and very wordy, then you are very likely to have stronger emotional attachment to what you put out there. And it's hard to stay grounded sometimes because you'll get the positive reinforcement and you're like, that's okay, no, wow, shit. Like all these efforts that I'm putting in there, it's making me feel good putting this music out. But seeing that other people fuck with it too, it's like, it's very encouraging. You know, it really is. Whether it's the reason why you do it or not is besides the point. It's a very encouraging feeling. But if you are someone, as I said, who indulges in this sensitive kind of art or whatever, personal art, then I think oftentimes you'll have a bit of an imposter syndrome already in you, at least an imposter seed within you. And when you see a negative comment or a highly critical comment, or you know what, even a backhanded kind of compliment where actually it's sort of a diss or like a criticism of something, and it'll resonate with that imposter seed within you, and that imposter seed just like blooms and it blossoms into like this, okay, full-on imposter syndrome. Like, they're right. All these positive comments are nice and sweet.
They watered your imposter syndrome with negativity.
Right. It's kind of like, oh, all these other people are saying nice things because they're just trying to be nice. You know, they're like, they don't want to be real with me. But then this person who's pointing out this negative thing, shit, they know it. And the thing they're criticizing, I always suspected that about myself, you know, or like I knew it. They see right through me, and it's unhealthy. It's incredibly unhealthy. And of course, hindsight is 20/20. Once you walk away from it afterwards, you're like, why did I react like that? It's easy to speak in hindsight, and it's easy to think objectively when you're not in the heat of the moment. But when you see it and you're experiencing it firsthand, it sort of reaffirms a lot of your self-doubts. You know, and that's why the negative stuff can have such an impact. That even though the positive shit is super impactful, the negative just seems to have this superpower if you already have the imposter syndrome in you. Because the positive comments have work cut out for them, because you're already someone who maybe, personally speaking for myself, I already have a lot of self-doubt. So in order for you guys to convince me, there's got to be a lot of these comments, a lot of blah, blah, blah. It takes time, is what I'm saying, for me to get to a point like, yeah, they're right. Whereas it doesn't take much time for a negative comment to have a powerful effect on me. So with that in mind, I'm kind of like, I'll just try to avoid everything overall, not like, you know, completely like close my eyes whenever someone says anything and close my ears and go, I don't want to hear it. But I'm not going to go out of my way and look for this shit, because I just know I'm not fully emotionally mature as an artist to be able to sometimes deal with that criticism in a healthy way in my head.
I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like sometimes I feel you on the self-doubt thing, like how it's like I don't know, it'll be like a thought in the back of my head, but I'll hear like, there is like this kind of thing, like I'll hear someone say something nice about a song, but it'll be like, oh, it's just because the beat slaps. Or I'll be they only like that because this, or like, oh, like I did that, but I don't really do that anymore. And like, they're not going to like this, you know? And like, I think the less I analyze it, because like, that's what I kind of miss about when I first started. Like, when I first started fucking just making music in general, I feel like there was like none of that. Like it was just kind of like, I'm dope. And that people don't get it, then that's on them, you know? And then like, it was like this, like now I feel like there's a certain like expectation to be met. And like, that kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like, not really, because like I'm confident in like myself, like, and what I want to hear, and I think I should just dive into what I want to hear.
But of course, I think it's natural to worry that like, well, what if everybody hates it? You know, like, fine, I'm enjoying this and everything, but even if I am enjoying this process, but everybody hates it, how's that going to make me feel? You know?
Yeah.
Reinforcement is an important thing, and the way that the rest of the world reacts either validates sometimes your efforts or validates your self-doubts and everything. So it's admirable, the thought of like, well, just disconnect yourself from that, you know? Don't care what nobody says. And a lot of people who give that advice, you know, maybe have a couple hundred people listening to them. So they don't really experience it that much because they're not constantly getting feedback. But if you're constantly, and we're constantly getting feedback, you know, like every moment of the day, there's almost 1,000 people that are listening to me at every second of the day. And that's a lot of people. And that means even if only one of them posts a comment about me online that day, from within that hour, then that's feedback, and it piles up, and I'm not paying attention to it, but it's constantly growing. The feedback, views and opinions about me keep piling up. So it's hard to completely ignore that and the power that has on how you view yourself. So even if you're super sure about the music you're releasing, I think it's absolutely normal to kind of like consider that, like, hey, but you know, how's this gonna play out? And I think you've been doing a great job of like, you've been working on your album, you haven't showed me nothing. I've been working on my album, I haven't showed you anything. And I think we're both working on it. I'm working on it, and I'm like, I'm having the time of my life. I think this is gonna be the best thing I've ever made. But I do sometimes sit and think, like, I wonder if anyone's going to like this. You know what I mean? I think that's normal.
Yeah, no, I would 100% feel you on that. Like, why I've been kind of taking longer on this one is, like, I don't know if I said this before, but I'm trying to self-produce the entire album.
That's right, yeah.
And,
Can't
which
wait.
is, like, a lot, I don't know. Like, I was even debating just, like, doing a whole record with, like, no features. Nothing, like making it like as personal as humanly possible. Like, I'm not gonna like say that 100% that it's gonna be like, maybe I won't have like a collab beat or a feature or something like that, but like what I'm kind of aiming for right now is something super personal and what like I want to hear. And I think self-producing it is gonna be like the best way to accomplish that. And I think the whole Twitch shit is actually kind of like giving me a confidence that I didn't have before, because I felt like before, like it was like I was just like fluking every time I would make a good beat. Like I would be like,
Right.
okay, like this is a good beat, but like I can't do it all the time.
That's crazy that you say that. That's crazy. I feel the exact same way. Damn, I feel happy to hear you say that, because I feel like you're an incredible producer.
Well, thanks, man. And I think you're incredible too. I just think that like it's I think it's normal to feel that way. But when I was on Twitch, I realized that like maybe like obviously there's better producers out there. There's gonna be someone who's better than you or that you like more, etc. You know. But I like doing it the way that I do it, and like people like fucking with it and realizing that I can output pretty well if I like focus on it really hard has made it easy. Now I will say the give and take of that is like now it's like I make beats on Twitch and like I feel like I get like that out like creatively.
Yeah.
And then like when it goes to work on the album beats, it's just like, you know, but I got a few songs now that are, I keep saying they're finished, but like I keep changing shit.
That's cool.
Like I can't just leave it alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is weird because prior to like a lot of the like all the stuff that we've been doing has been produced by other people, and so it's been kind of like we record, we mix it, and we're done. Whereas like this is kind of like you record a bit, then you produce some more, then you record some more, and then like it's. I think that like it'll make it more dynamic, but it'll just take longer to make because I know how I am.
Yeah.
So, but as long as I keep working on it, that's all I care about. It's fun.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it. Yeah, I'm super stoked to hear it. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't been showing you anything is because, well, I'm trying to not show people my music as much in general ahead of time. Although who knows, maybe We Need to Talk might end up being on the record. But in general, I don't want opinions. I've realized that I don't want opinions anymore. Like when I show people music, like, and I say, what do you think? I'm not looking for someone to tell me what to change or to add, or I don't give a fuck. I'm playing this for you and I hope you like it, you know? And if I explicitly want feedback on the mix or something, I'll say that. Hey, do you think the S's are a little harsh? What do you think about the mix? So that I'll do sometimes with you guys from time to time. But otherwise, I kind of want to keep it all a surprise so that when it comes out and everybody hears it for the first time, I want you to be experiencing it the same way, you know, because I want to get I want to see how you'll react and everything, because
yeah, I mean, I feel the same way because you and I have been working on, like, ever since we did New Moon
last year,
we've been working on collaborative music, which has been fun. It's been cool
for sure.
It's a very different experience than just like making your own record or whatever.
Very.
But I feel like, in essence, because it's harder for me to like enjoy music that I've made like in the same way as like listening to someone else's music. In the same essence, I feel like this has been like a collective experience between you, me, and Square already. of just kind of like, we've heard this record a million times now. Here it is.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And I wanted to sit down and like listen to a Rav record, and you'd be able to listen to a Kill Bill record, and it'd be like, here you go. Here's the thing you can consume and enjoy like a normal person.
Right, and without having heard like the 73 different versions of the mix, or 6 different
takes. Here's
takes.
the mix with the vocals 0.3 decibels lower, and here's the mix with the vocals 0.5 decibels lower.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope now it's finished. I hope you like that on this verse I kept the 4th take, even though you personally prefer the 3rd take, and like all this shit is just kind of like can sometimes get in the way, I guess, of like that first time experience for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, I'm getting I'm getting a pager message.
Dude, what does it say on your pager? I don't even know how fucking pagers work.
Man, I had a pager. I used to have a pager.
You had a beeper?
I don't know if I did it the right way. But I would like I'd have to call somebody on a phone and be like, hey, can you page this person, like their number? Can you page them? And I would, oh, dude, it was so awkward. And you'd be talking to this lady over the phone. She's like, yes, what do you want the message to say? It'd be like, yeah, could you have it say, suck my dick, Daniel? And and they'd be like, okay, will you want to add anything else? Or like, no, I'm good, thank you. But I'm sure there was probably a way you could just type maybe on the thing. But my thing only had like arrows and like 2 other buttons.
Yeah, I think you had to call people. I'm pretty sure you did.
Which is so trash, dude. Right? I had that shit. I loved it.
Dude, it's funny that you say that because today's product is a pager.
Oh my God.
A kind of pager.
At time.
Okay. At time.
Played the tribal music.
So, listen. I've got a question for you, Rav.
Go ahead, ask me, fam.
Have you ever wanted a pager in the year 2020?
Yeah.
Have you also had the undying yearning to pass on from this plane of existence?
Yeah.
Well, I've got the product for you. That's right. From Wrigley's, not the gum company, comes the Death Pager.
Oh, so is it a pager or is it like just a weapon?
Well, it's not a weapon. It's a pager.
Is it a taser?
You keep it on your hip. No, it's a pager. A pager, you idiot. It's a pager you keep on your hip, on your little belt buckle. But anytime someone pages you, you fucking instantly die in a fiery explosion. Right.
So it's a bomb.
No, it's not a bomb. It's a pager.
Okay.
That explodes much like a bomb would.
Tell me more.
I mean, what's there to say, brother? It's a simple product. You put it on your hip. You just put it on your hip and you just await the sweet embrace of death.
Does someone have to like page you? Do they have to call somebody and be like, hey, can you get my friend's number 653? Can you just blow their pager up now?
You don't have to say anything. You just say, could you please page them? And they'll be like, right away. And then they just fucking
like,
kill
righto.
You. They say, righto.
And then
just like
then
that plumber the other day.
Right.
Yeah, and he's dead. Daniel's dead.
Yeah, you suck my dick, Daniel.
It says, if it says, you can read it. You can read a message, and then they'll look down. As soon as they look down at it, that'll be the last thing they see, and they blow up.
Beautiful. I like this product because it is.
Yeah, let's talk about the technology, though, Rav. I think the people really want to know the inner workings, the inner machinations of this fucking machine.
Okay, picture a bomb device, right?
Okay, I'm picturing a bomb. I'm looking at it in my head. I'm visualizing it.
But like a remote bomb, one that a device that you can set off from a distance, right?
Yeah.
Packed neatly into sort of a small little pager. If you've ever seen a pager, held a pager. I mean, if you've watched any like medical dramas, you know, early 2000s, or even late 2000s, you know, House MD, you would have seen a pager at least once or twice.
Yeah, if you've watched Hey Arnold as a child, you got Big Bob the Beeper King, you know? That's
you
a
go.
pager.
So there you go. So you are obviously very familiar already. So, you know, so it's that. That's the shape, but it's actually a remote bomb that you can blow up from a distance. And that is it. But it also has a few like cute little ringtones, such as this one and also this one. How quaint.
And don't forget this one.
That one's quirky. It's my favorite actually out of the three. So yeah, it's awesome. Bill, tell me, where can I get this wonderful product? How?
Okay,
And why?
so you just have to dial this one in. There's no website. You have to call 1-555
I'm dialing.
Beeper Kingo.
I got it dialed in.
Dial it in. Beeper Kingo from Wrigley's, but you don't put from Wrigley's. It's just from Wrigley's. And you call them up. You tell them old Rav sent you. Old Rav, not young Rav.
Okay.
Rav from the future.
Okay.
He sent you. Rav from the future sent you.
Okay.
They'll get you hooked up. Price-wise, it varies on your state and its laws.
But we do have a
But
promo
you
code.
just...
We do have a promo code.
We do have a promo
It
code.
is,
You have to just...
all caps.
You have
Show
to
us the
say,
dent.
suck my dick, Daniel.
Oh. Or that. There's
What were
two
you
promo
saying?
codes.
What was your promo code? Because yours is different than mine.
Well, I've got I mean, you could use either or. They're both like, was it 25% off? But the one that I received from the sponsors was all caps, no spaces. Show us the dent. That one also works.
Yeah. It's good. So yeah, dude, I'm really awaiting the sweet embrace of death now.
I'm about to page you right now.